What's up, Nick Nation? How you doing? I'm Juby the Tubi. You're here with Straight Talk Family above everything. Hope you guys are doing great. Happy Saturday, March 5th. Knicks go down swinging 115 to 114 to the Phoenix Suns. Julius Randle gets thrown out of the game at the end of the third quarter. And of course, Tom Thibodeau up to his old ways. Listen, did the NBA get soft or is it just me? Did Julius Randle really deserve to get thrown out of the game? Stick around. I'm Juby the Tubi. We'll be joined by Zenray Sports TV in just a few moments, and I'll catch you guys in a second. Stick around. What's up, Nick family? Here we go. Salute to you guys in the chat at Nick Nation. Hope you guys are doing good. Hope you guys had a great week. Listen, the Knicks go down swinging 115 to 114 at a last minute desperation shot from the man who's right behind me. The Knicks seem to always find somebody who I don't even want to say who they become stars, but it's just ridiculous, guys. At this point, Johnson had 38 points. Who in their right mind would think that this kid Johnson, number 23 from the Phoenix Suns, would drop 38 points on the New York Knicks? The Knicks had a full lineup, mind you. Phoenix Suns were missing Chris Paul. They're missing Booker. They figured they don't need their two stars. They can just go with what they have. And wouldn't you know it, they beat the Knicks 115-114 on a last-minute desperation shot. But that's not even the whole thing, guys. The Knicks, in the second and third quarter, actually in the third quarter, they were up as much as by 13 points. Even in the fourth quarter, with like 2 minutes to go, they were up by 5. But some costly turnovers, missed shots, and Phoenix Suns just hitting their shots. The Knicks, like I said, fell 115-114. But Tom Thibodeau, up to his old ways with the substitutions, with the rotations. Cam Reddish was having a great defensive game, takes him out in the fourth quarter. Instead of going with a defensive lineup where you need stops, he goes with Evan Fournier, Emmanuel Quickly. I just don't get it. This guy, I understand he wants to win. My partner Zenray is going to defend him. He's going to sit there and say he's a win now coach. He's trying to win the games. But I think his best opportunity and his best chance was to win with people like Cam Reddish, Miles McBride, Alex Burke, R.J. Barrett, and Mitchell Robinson at that point. I know we didn't have Obi Toppin. He was out with an injury. And like I said, if you missed it, Julius Randle got kicked out in the third quarter with 2 minutes to go with a scuffle with Johnson. But did he really deserve to get thrown out? I know that, my partner is going to probably say he's had it with him, that Julius Randle's a hothead. He is a hothead, but he didn't deserve to get thrown out of the game. The NBA today just disgusts me. I wish we can go back to the 90s basketball, 90s rules, where physicality was once a thing. Now the pity pat fouls are ridiculous. But again, welcome to you guys. Salute to you guys at the chat and out there on Nick Nation. Let's bring in Zenray from Zenray Sports TV. I'm sure he's going to have a lot to say about Tom Thibodeau and about Julius Randle especially.
About this game. And, you were ahead anyway, not pulling out the game. You could have won this game easily. So my mind is just racing right now, and I'm trying to hold my composure to say what is going on with Julius Randle. Juby, the Tubi family above everything. Welcome to Zenray Sports TV. I appreciate you today. Let's talk about the game. I mean, the whole Knicks team played very well that first unit, Juby, and Cam Johnson banks in a 3-pointer. Leading the Suns at stunning the Knicks at a 114 game. What is your views on this game, and what can the Knicks have done better? I know you're not a big Thibodeau guy in his substitutions, but besides that, what else you think the Knicks went wrong last night?
Well, salute to you guys at Zenray Sports TV. Thank you for having me. Listen, the Knicks played hard. It was a great game. They played very competitive. But the Knicks have a bad habit. They have a habit of making these. What's the name again? Johnson? Who in their right mind? Come on.
He's a quickly player. Cam Johnson. He's the play off the bench.
He's Alex Burke of the New York Knicks. I don't want to hear it. Kid is young. He might be talented, but the Knicks always find a way to make these guys become superstars. 38 points from somebody in there. The light could be shining on their rear end another night if Chris Paul was there and Devin Booker, and this guy wouldn't be doing what he did. But unfortunately, that's the universe that we live in. Johnson had the light shining down on him. The man was hot, could not miss, could not be stopped. 38 points, like you said, a game-winning bank shot from top of the key, 3-point range. And before that, he actually hit a 3-pointer from the bottom of the right hand to tie the game. So the guy was hot. There's no denying it. Julius Randle had a phenomenal game, 25 points, 7 rebounds, 7 assists. But the mental health, the hot-headedness, the man that we all know that he is, could not control his temper. And he gets ejected, ladies and gentlemen, with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter while the Knicks are up by 13 points. Gets ejected out of the game, tossed for a scuffle he had with Mr. Johnson. And the rest is history. I mean, we basically had the lead with 2 minutes to go in the game. We had a 5-point lead. And I thought we could seal it, but Phoenix hit some shots. We did it. Alex Burks. Mr. 50% free throw shooter.
Yeah, you hit that. Well, he was almost at 90 last year, and I think
last year, the last 10 games, he's at 50%. Check it out.
Wow, I didn't know those stats, but thank you, Juby. But look, he had to hit that free throw. He hit that free throw. It changes the game. Now, if they hit that 3, okay, they're going to overtime. So these are the small little nuances that the Knicks. This is a year that you have to kind of sweep underneath the rug and start over next year. But listen, Cam Johnson, 6'8", 210 pounds. He was from North Carolina. He was in the 2019 first-round pick, the 11th pick from Minnesota. He got over to Minnesota in some kind of trade. He is a upcoming player. The last year, especially in the playoffs, he comes off the bench. He's like the a la Quickly who gets you some quick points, plays defense. So I'm not saying he's the greatest player ever and that he should have done this to us, but every guy does this to us, lately. But he's an above average player that can play. And look, He hit that shot. It was almost like that Barrett shot that we hit at the Garden, type of bank it off the glass, kind of a little luck on his side, but he deserved it. Look, he's been bullied in the game by a bully, by a big bully in school. You know, you go to school, they want to take your lunch and they want to take your change out of their pocket. That's Julius Randle. First, he belts his elbow or his shoulder into the guy's stomach. He was out of air. Basically, took him out. He walked off. He went to the locker, came about 3-4 minutes later. All night, he's trying to bully this kid. He's not a kid. He's the same age as Julius Randle. But the kid is a quiet kid. He doesn't show. He just shows his play by producing on the floor. Julius Randle does the opposite. He tries to play this bully ball. Come on, the guy put his hands on you, maybe gave you a little shove. Nothing major for a rebound. Nothing that the NBA players don't do to each other. To go out and go and act the way you act, it is unnecessary. The Knicks lost this game. Number one, Julius Randle took himself out of the game. He could have easily had about 35, 40 points in this game and probably pulled us out his victory. He was having a very, very good game. And for him to do that shows why he cannot be on a team. Barrett is the coolest guy on the team. Listen, it's nothing wrong having an enforcer or whatever, but after you made your point, to shove him the second time and get that second technical, Juby, was unnecessary. Bullying this young kid. I keep calling him young. He's 26 years of age. Was unnecessary. The guy was saying, what's going on with this guy? So Julius Randle has a lot of mental stuff he has to take care of. Anger management. I hope he's not beating anybody else in his family, because I don't know. He just loses it and blindside. It only hurts the Knicks. I'm kind of glad this lost this game, because the Knicks are ranking up in the 6, 7, 8 range now in the lottery.
Let's go.
In that sense of it, look, the stars are aligning if you want to tank for the Knicks. But look, come on, you had this game won. You had quite a few games they could have won as well. This year, besides what happened with that and Tom Thibodeau's substitutions, as you're going to mention in a few minutes, the Knicks are lost. Barrett is still the leader of this team. Barrett played not a great game, but the whole team was in double figures. And if you don't sign Mitchell Robinson, there's something wrong with the organization. Mitchell Robinson has to be signed. 37 minutes of play with 17 points. Barrett, in 44 minutes of play, had 20 points. Wasn't his best game, but he was fighting through. He was missing a lot of three-pointers. Fournier came back to life a little bit, had 16 points. Burks had his 16. And like I said, Randle had his 25, but was ejected in that third quarter.
You listen. The team played collectively, very well. Like you said, R.J. Barrett had a horrible shooting night, but was able to get to the line, was able to drive the ball, hit some key shots, and that's why the man ended up with 20 points. It just comes to show you, even on a bad shooting night, the guy still produces 20 points and is still the man. And that's what separates R.J. Barrett from somebody like Evan Fournier, who last night was great. These 17 points. But the next two games, he'll probably go back down to 12, 11.
It wasn't great.
It
wasn't great. It's okay. It's just what we expect from Fournier.
Yeah.
You get your 16, 20 points a game. That's what, but consistently, if you can do that. Burke, there's no room for Burks in that lineup.
He played well. He played well yesterday. Like I was ready to come on here and give it to him, and call him a lover boy for Tom Thibodeau, who loves him. But the man played well. I mean, you can't take nothing. He hit a 3-point play and got fouled. He had assists.
Who has more games better than him or Fournier? Like a toss of a coin. So out of every 10 games, Burks plays well. Look, he's a defensive guy who plays defense. He has his moments, but he is a part-time player. You have him as a starting point guard. The Knicks are in desperate need of so much of a point guard. And I'm glad that Deuce McBride got 8 minutes. I'm not going to go crazy on that. He should have played him more. But Deuce McBride is still learning the ways of the NBA speed. Look, the G League is one thing, but learning the speed of the NBA is another thing. That's going to take some time. It took Sims some time too. Sims played, fairly well yesterday. Not the greatest, but these kids need to play and see the day of light. Cam Reddish, 14 minutes, only had 6 points. He's a work in progress. Look, he's a work in progress. McBride, Sims, these guys have to get more playing time. I'm glad he played him for 8 minutes. I hope to see him to play at least 15 coming up against who are we playing? The Clippers on Sunday. So let's see what happened. Look, the Knicks were outscored once again in that fourth quarter, 34-21. We outscored them 38-23. We were dominating that third quarter until Julius Randle's bone head play. And this is the conducive atmosphere. Either we don't do well in the third quarter, or the fourth quarter we just give the game away. We gave that game away. There's not a lot to say in terms of Knicks. The Knicks, that starting rotation, look, everybody's in double figures, 25, 17, 16, 16, and 20. And Barrett, it wasn't Barrett's greatest game, but he has other intangibles that makes his team engine run. You look at the Suns, 14 by Crowder, Malik Bridges, 20, Alton, the center, 8, 17 by Payne, and Shamat had 6 in that starting rotation. I'm just looking at Cam Johnson's numbers, ridiculous. Off the bench, only had 28 minutes. He was on fire, 38 points. He was 11 for 16 from the field, 9 from 12 from three-point record for him, 9 3-pointers, 7 for 8 from the free throw line. I don't remember a guy in the Knicks bench who scored like this before. Look, they deserved it. They won it. I wasn't shocked. I knew when Cam Johnson took that shot, I say, I bet she's going to go in. And look, Knicks lost again, 115-114. If you're into the lottery for the Knicks are just getting that much closer to getting those ping pongs more up, and never know what's going to happen. Maybe they'll move that 7th, 8th worst record in the league, and they can get some ping pongs bouncing their way, and maybe they get into the top 3.
All right. You know, guys, me and Zenray, we always have our own opinions, and this is where I get them. This is where my turn now to come at him and let him know. So, before I even get to that point, listen, I'm going to tell you guys something. For those of y'all who are our age and older, you guys know what 90s basketball was about. It was tough. It was competitive. Physicality was the name of the game. We had bullies. We had bully ball. We had the enforcers. And it was a great time. Today's NBA basketball just at times disgusts me. And I'm not taking away anything and making up excuses for Julius Randle. Julius Randle deserved to get thrown out of yesterday to an extent. But my God, you know, I know he's a hothead. I know he's mentally there, not there sometimes. But in my opinion, that man did not need for yesterday to get thrown out. I've seen so much worse from NBA players, and you throw that man out. I understand he got 2 technical fouls or whatever, but in my opinion, and I'm going to just say dumb. I'm not even going to use the S word. I'm just going to say dumb. He was dumb on his part, dumb on the referee's part for making that decision to throw him out of the game. Did he deserve 1 technical? Absolutely. Did he deserve to get thrown out of the game? Absolutely not. But that's the NBA that we live in. Pity-patty fouls. Hold on. Pity-patty fouls. Touch fouls. It's just ridiculous. I know that Julius Randle's been throwing elbows all night and was bullying himself, but you got to understand something. That man gets bullied every single game I watch. I see Julius Randle, people throwing elbows at him getting smacked on his body, and because he's a broad, big guy, it doesn't look like it's affecting him, and the referees don't see it. So he's going to get frustrated. A man is only going to lose it. And I'm not making up no excuses for the guy. At the same time, Julius, I understand you, my friend, because I'm a big guy myself. And if a guy is 80 pounds lighter than me, doesn't mean just because I'm bigger than him, it's not an excuse. If the guy is going to even tap me and foul me, be fair right down the middle. Don't just call it just because one guy is bigger than the next. That's what I wanted to touch up on that aspect real quick. Second of all, Cam Reddish, he only had 6 points, but the guy was 3 for 5, and the guy played a great defensive game. I did watch a lot of the game, but I didn't watch the whole entire thing. I had to go back and watch a lot of the stuff because I fell asleep. But the guy was having a defensive good game. And what does Tom Thibodeau do? With his win now mentality, like everybody, like including yourself, right? I know me and you just had a conversation, and you said that Tom Thibodeau thought that was the best way to win the game. He went with his starters. But if defense is working, If you stress defense so much, why take out your defensive players and put offensive players? That's what baffles me. I understand that Cam Reddish is still a young guy, but the guy should have deserved to be in that fourth quarter and finish out that game. I've watched a bunch of shows from this morning to now. Everybody's on the same page that I am. Again, Tom Thibodeau with his automatic coaching decision to bring Evan Fournier, Alex Burke. We already knew what he was gonna do.
Hey, Juby, look, let's get back to Randall. You made a lot of good points. Maybe a lot of them I don't disagree with, and this what makes the show fun. And maybe
Absolutely.
we have viewers out there that disagree with a lot of the stuff. I basically say this much: Julius Randle, and what the NBA is trying to do is trying to avoid a riot from look. Julius Randle's out of control. They had to get players to pull him away. Okay, you made your point. You got into his face. Once the referee's getting between and they're trying to stop you, and then you reach over, and now you push the guy. Now, this is after they're trying to calm everything down. You're getting what's called a cheap shot at the end. The NBA is trying to prevent a riot from people from the benches come out, people from the stands. They don't want that. So they had to show that this is not tolerated by the NBA. This nonsense of you taking another shot after the play in football. If you're arguing with a football player, there'll be offset penalties. But if one of the football players engages in a violent act after the referees get in between, what usually happens is they get a penalty, and sometimes they can get ejected from the game, depending. The ejection rarely happens unless it's something really violent, but they'll give them 15 yards on the penalty for unnecessary roughness. So I understand what the NBA is trying to do. You don't want to. Listen, you're here to play basketball, Julius. You're here to play basketball. This show is not the greatest show on earth this year for you. So you shouldn't be antagonizing or getting angry. I don't know what's going on psychologically in your mind. You're up by 10 points. You have 25 points. You're playing probably one of the best games I've seen you overall. Defensively, passing the ball. You're playing at a very good pace. You have another 2.5 minutes left of that third quarter. Let it go. Let it go. Thibodeau just stayed mum on the situation. They asked him questions about it. Regular Thibodeau answers. But at the end, I'm glad Cam Johnson had the game he had. He did it, and he beat not only the Knicks, but he showed Julius, I don't play with my mouth and with my toughness. I play by action. And here's the dagger in your heart. Not only to Knicks and Knick Nation, but to you, Julius Randle, and hoping you escape from New York.
Well said. Listen, based on what you just said, I completely agree with that aspect. And last night, like you said, maybe it was the right thing to do for him to get thrown out. But what I'm trying to say is the NBA referees need to start looking at video and seeing how many calls they're missing on Julius Randle. How much he's getting smacked in the face, smacked across the chest, and they're not calling it. And a man can only take but so much. You're going to sit there, and after 10, 15 games, you're going to lose your mind. You're going to sit there and say, what do I have to do to show you guys that although I'm dominating and I'm the enforcer, I'm getting my rear end hit too? He's making, so I get what he's trying to do, and if I was Julius Randle, I would, maybe they did, he said enough. If that incident didn't happen with the fans, I honestly would have told him he needs to make a statement to the NBA and let him know, listen, you referees need to watch these videos and see how I'm getting hit. Because it is ridiculous. You guys call pity-pat fouls on so many players in the NBA and on Julius Randle, and I've seen it on multiple occasions. The guy's getting chopped across the chest, and he throws his hands up, and everybody's like, oh, here he goes. He's getting hot-headed again. And it's only right. The man is getting physically abused too. Just because he doesn't show it because his body is built a certain way. Shaquille O'Neal used to take the abuse. LeBron James takes the abuse. But because they're LeBron James and they were Shaquille O'Neal, they get the calls. Be respectful. Call the thing right down the middle. Fair is fair. That's all I ask, no matter what the name is.
Listen, I agree with you. Everything. I think Julius Randle has gotten a raw deal in terms of calls this year. And because of his toughness, of him being bigger than other players, referees don't give him the calls. I could understand it getting frustrating. So maybe I don't understand the aspect of it. But when it comes to a game and the team has been playing bad, you're the leader of the team. You have to take a step back. Okay, I'll get him in the next round. I'll get him in the next round. You know what I'm saying? So maybe you don't get him now, you get him later, but don't escalate the altercation by shoving the guy when the guy's defensive. It's a cheap shot in my mind. I'm very disappointed in Julius Randle's overall, not his play, because you can have a bad season, but overall the way he's going about the game.
Carrying
Uh,
himself, yeah, yeah.
Anybody can have a bad season and not play well. But just overall, his mental state of mind, the way he treats the fans, the way he treats his players, the way he's outspoken on about, oh, they're picking on me, I gotta get no foul. Okay, sweep it underneath the rug, and then his acts on the court, like what happened last night, is very unprofessional, very unnecessary, and it's not going to make a Knicks team better. Now, if you're in a playoff hunt and you want an Oakley type player and you want to send a message, and you can afford losing a game, that's fine. The Knicks need to win games just to motivate this group. But on the other side of it, the people who want the Knicks to tank, hey, it worked out. Julius Randle is your best friend last night. But at the end, let me get back to your point with Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau, you know he's going to bring his players at the end, especially when you see the Phoenix Suns making a charge coming back. He saw the players weren't doing well. I can understand him bringing Burks in the lineup because these are the guys who bought the majority of points in when Julius was there. But usually, and you're right about this aspect of it, when it comes to Fournier and these guys, when they come in the fourth quarter, they're not the same player that they were in the second. Disappear, and that's time after time after time. So I can understand that, but you have to put your best players there at the end. You can't put rookies at a very close game because there's gonna be a lot of mistakes. So I do understand the aspect of it, and I understand your angle of it. Look, at the end, the Knicks lose again, and the Knicks are just getting further and further away from their goal. In terms of getting to that play-in, I think 5 games or 6 games they're out. The Knicks record now is 25-38. Phoenix Suns up their record to 51-12. They're an elite team. You had an opportunity to win last night. No Booker, no Chris Paul. Obi Toppin was scratched the last second of the game. I don't know if he would have made a difference in the game, but the Knicks lose again. The Knicks are I think, about 5.5, almost 6 games out of that playing game. I think between 7th and 8th at the worst record in the league. So I think you're much closer. You can go either way. You still have a chance to make that playing game, but you have to start winning games. And last night was a game you had to win when you know you had this team handicapped. Two of the best perimeter players not playing. The Knicks blew it. Julius Randle blew it. And maybe partially in your mind, Tom Thibodeau, as usual, goes with his safety net and brings out his starters, especially. But at the end, you have no point guard. You have no leader who just got ejected. That's a so-called leader or whatever, especially after playing a good game. Barrett had a kind of off night in 44 minutes of play with 20 points. So the Knicks lose. Randall Reddish, like I said, 14 minutes, only had 6 points. Quickly, 27 minutes, he was the highest bench play scorer. He was playing fairly well. And 13 points. He had 8 rebounds. Wow, surprised. Had 1 steal. And think about it, he had 2 assists, which was impressive in that state. Burks had 6 assists. So okay, Burks did play a good game. He had 9 rebounds as well, Burks. So look, overall, when you see Burks playing that well, do you blame Thibodeau bringing back the players that kind of got you where you got? Especially, you could have beat this Phoenix Suns team. So I
I would have bring in Burks. My lineup, me personally, my lineup would have been Alex Burke because he was having a great game and he's known for his defense. Evan Fournier would have not been in that last 2 minutes of the game. It would have been Cam Reddish, for my
right.
opinion.
Yeah,
R.J. Barrett, Mitchell Robinson, and whoever else you want to throw. Evan Fournier had no business. You had the lead. You were up by 5 with 2 minutes to go. You didn't need offensive plays. You needed defensive
guys.
stop.
Yeah, right. And I think Cam Reddish, you're right about that. That's a good point, Juby. Fournier is wow. He cement shoes, this guy, because he can't move his feet as quickly as possible. The thing about Cam takes chances defensively, but you like that because he moves his feet well. He has long arms. He can deflect passes. Yeah, I think that having Cam Reddish at the end would have been good. So who was this? Going back, it was Fournier, It was Robinson. It was Burks.
RJ
RJ and Quickly at the end,
and
right?
quick and quickly, yeah.
Yeah, that's
And
what he
then
kept.
another thing I don't get, maybe you can clarify something quickly to me. When Miles McBride was in the game, Emmanuel Quickly was still the point guard. Emmanuel Quickly, no, nothing to take away from him. I was watching the ball. Miles McBride was playing shooting guard. He was playing offset.
Off
So
ball. Yeah.
don't get fooled, ladies and gentlemen. Tom Thibodeau had him playing, but he did not have him running point guard. Now, was that actually designed? Did he tell him you're going to play the shooting guard because he scored 36 points on the G League? Or I honestly don't know. I don't know what to say,
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Listen. You picked up a lot of good points that I didn't. I was not going to bring up on the show. So I do appreciate your input on that. And yeah, you're right about that. Quickly was bringing the ball out. McBride would come around and kind of set picks, and he was going around in the corner. Yeah, so they kind of misused McBride a little bit. Just the fact they got 8 minutes and got
It was a good
a
thing.
whiff of the game, it's fine. Let's see what happens. But you're right. You need to take. You have to let Deuce look. You look at the Suns, the way they're coached. Cam Johnson is revealed by the coach, and he says to him, "Listen, kid," or he gives the confidence to these young players, and he says, "Go get them. Play your game. It gives them the confidence to play. The Knicks coaching is dominating basically the veterans, and you make a good point of that. So when you compare coaches, okay, Monty Williams is a type of coach that's gonna get you and get the best out of his young players. Now that's a perfect coach for a young team, a Monty Williams type player. Tom Thibodeau is a type of player. He's heavy veteran guy. His mindset is still set the same way. He's a win now coach. Monty Williams is a win now coach, but he's gonna give the confidence. If he had a McBride on that team,
Look!
he
Just
would
look
use
what
them. He said, "You have talent. We're gonna use you."
Look what
Listen,
Payne did. Look at Payne. Look, just take a look at Payne, ladies and gentlemen. Payne was a free agent a couple of years ago, and I wanted the Knicks to get him. Just look what Payne did to the Knicks last night. Look what a point guard does, and that's backup point guard. That's all I'm gonna say on that. I'll let you finish it up because it was just crazy.
yeah, and Alfred Payton, I expected him to play, but he didn't play at all. He was on the bench and he didn't play at all. So I guess he didn't play. Coach's decision. I'm surprised against his old teammates. He didn't put him in there. He put the players that was going to work. I'm pretty sure maybe we would have got some play if Booker and Chris Paul was there. But since this game was a close game, he wanted to play the guys that play hard and kind of play what he showed him in practice or whatever the case may be. Look, at the end, the Knicks lose 115 to 114. Julius Randle goes a little berserk and gets ejected in that third quarter. Burks misses that free throw that caused that last second shot. You could have not iced the game, but you would have been up by 3. Misses that free throw. They get the rebound. They pass the ball to Cam Johnson. I'm just laughing because you can't make this thing up, Juby. The Knicks lose again, 115, 114. But at the end, they say, New Yorkers, Knick Nation, never give up. Never give up, knowing that the best is yet to come, as long as you have love, peace, and gratitude. I don't know what else you want to say, Juby. The Knicks lose again, 115, 114. They'll play on Sunday against the Clippers. We'll do a post-game show, either Monday or that evening, or depending what time they play. I don't have a time slot, what time they're playing.
10 o'clock tomorrow. So I guess Monday, Monday morning game, post game.
All right, Juby. Zenray out. Thank you for
Appreciate
being
it.
on.
Absolutely,
I don't know what
brother.
else you want to say, but
Go New
your
York, go New York, go. That's all I'm gonna say, brother.
family above everything.
You already know. Have a great
All
day,
right.
guys.
Take care, Juby. Thanks for being on.
Absolutely, brother. Be safe.
Zenray out.
All right, guys, that was Zenray with Zenray Sports TV. I told you guys, me and him were gonna have our own opinions and our own stuff. He makes some valid points, but I stand strong. Tom Thibodeau, his ways need to stop. I don't foresee him being the coach here for too much longer. And it's only going to get harder for the Knicks. The Knicks got the Clippers, they got the Kings, they got the Mavericks, Grizzlies, and Brooklyn. I see the Knicks possibly maybe winning March 16th against the Trailblazers. You heard it here first. But anyhow, enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your time with your family. I'm Juby the Tubi. Remember, you don't have to be blood to be family. And as always, family above everything. Stay safe, guys. Peace.
We are the New York Knicks. 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 Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. Say go New York, go New York, go. Go New York, go New York, go. We're back on track. Here we come. We get 721 and the Knicks are on